Morning. So I thought at the home of pool betting, I had a really easy gig presenting the World Tote Association. That was until Jason's intro there. I've taken my jacket off and I'm ready for a good scrap in the panel. So I'll just come on straight away. So I've just got a handful of slides to say that the panel seems to be where it's all going to happen shortly, so I'll kick on. So the conference strapline, Be Connected and Stride Together, has been much discussed, and this really is encapsulated by the work of the World Tote Association. So quickly, what is the association? From this slide, it should be reasonably self-explanatory, but the membership totals 31 members in total, 21 full members and 10 associates. It covers the Americas, Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. And our turnover is now around, as a collective, around 40 billion. It's coming into its 5th year, and while you've got the likes of the World Lotteries Association that bring together a large cross-section of wagering organisations, WOTA is the predominant organisation to have the horse racing industry itself in absolute focus. So as Peter V'landers said yesterday, that the tote can save racing if done properly. How does properly happen? And I think for totes to be better organised and informed, WOTA is absolutely critical here. I've had the honour of co-chairing alongside ATG's fabulous CEO Hans Lord Scarpath over the last couple of years, and we'll now just touch on where we've got to. So our objective is really just to provide a platform for the big totes in the world to work together and ensure wagering plays its part in improving horse racing's financial model. We meet on a regular basis to discuss these challenges and explore solutions. Collaboration is absolutely key, and much like other concepts such as Euro Millions and merging lotteries together, so we see the improved reach and liquidity as being critical for pool betting to move forward. This concept of sharing liquidity via commingling, much as lotteries do as well, when you think of things like Euro Millions, is critical when we're putting a competitive product in front of consumers. And that consumer obsession is absolutely key. We need to move on from the days of old when pool betting organisations had limited competition, so they needed to innovate slightly. The need to innovate was slightly less pressing, but now, as the guys have alluded to, we really need to innovate immediately. So what to drive this innovation? All members contribute in this organisation, sharing knowledge, data, initiatives. We got plenty of webinars. We had our own forum in the Breeders' Cup last year, plenty of less formal gatherings. Also, with plenty of work around cross-sales that sit alongside the pool betting product. It's absolutely crucial that with customers, with a single wallet now, it's very important we're relevant to them in their entirety and 24/7 as well. Another big focus for WOTA is to provide data and reports for its members. These hopefully more often than not relevant to governments and regulators. With that in mind, we're releasing today a fairly far-reaching piece of analysis by Martin Perbrick, who'll discuss that in the panel shortly. But he's done a report titled Tote Betting and Horse Racing, Tax, Responsible Gambling and Contribution to Society. It's far-reaching as it sounds. Evidence taken in from 77 countries. And I think the conclusion largely is, if we do leave pool betting under the same policy metrics as other form of wagering, then it does become vulnerable. Martin feels strongly that the sound ethical foundations, not requiring customers to lose, to be viable, and obligations to the underlying racing industry should stand it apart in some forms of policy, not least with tax. I think Joe Semrau-Smith yesterday made the point that the illegal product is cheap and increasingly appealing to customers, and that's a concern. The report not only highlights how challenging it is for totes to play by these rules, but still appeal to customers, and that is something that Martin covered in a fair amount of detail. Also, the issues around tax and it being a fairly blunt tool for problem gambling versus the more toxic forms of wagering. So Martin will come on to it shortly, but the report's going to be released on the WOTA website today. So final slide. There is traditionally an information overload at the fabulous conference that we're at today. So I'll just try and keep things extremely straightforward. So the key asks really, I hope you're now aware of what WOTA is, it stands for, and its work around creating a more sustainable outlook for global horse racing. It is where much of the good stuff can happen. Working together is exactly what we stand for. With 31 members, we're off to a great start, but there are some key names still missing. So please do encourage your national totes to play their part in the organisation. The second point I'd like to make is just how liquidity is critical to what we're all saying here. The consumer is particularly well blessed when it comes to options now, and making sure that pool betting is super competitive is really absolutely critical. Final point, I think Whirlpool has demonstrated the art of the possible. We're quite a few of us, not only we enjoyed Ascot and Goodwood in the UK recently, but York was, I thought, a fantastic template with £100,000 minimum purses. You've got races like the Acomb that previously boasted fairly humble prize money, up 400% in prize money since the advent of Whirlpool. So that is a real sort of reflection on how positive, how impactful Whirlpool can be. And of course, we move on to the excitement of the Irish Champion Stakes, and we'll all be cheering on Shin Emperor from Japan, which is extremely exciting to have such wonderful international runners at these events. And that's exactly what Whirlpool's driving. So while there's much to be concerned about with horse racing generally, there is a template here that is so obviously positive. It all sits under the ambitions of the World Tote Association. I hope you have some sense of how important the organisation is in delivering a financial model for the global racing industry going forward. Thank you very much.